Hi. Today we are talking about another team that doesn't really need an introduction, but we do it anyway. We are talking about Fnatic, who are the defending global champion, but they didn't win the last Blizzcon, so they are not defending Blizzcon champions, and that's the last mission I think they have on their plate. Quacknix always talks about their wish to get to BlizzCon and to win BlizzCon finally. So yeah, we gonna have to see if they can manage to do that. Fnatic is a lineup consisting of 5 suites, so they are able to communicate in Swedish, which is a big advantage. I believe a lot of the European teams have to communicate in English, and there might be some issues with that. But Fnatic were lucky enough to get Wubi from Dignitas, and we already talked about Dignitas being not so sure if that was indeed a great idea. But on the other hand, Fnatic was extremely happy to get Wubi because now they are able to communicate in Swedish, and their team play just got a lot better, and yeah, it's very impressive to see them. They kind of dominated the HGC Europe as well. They basically won all the matches except for one against the Diamond Skin lineup, but that was at the end of phase 1, and kind of felt like Fnatic was not really paying too much attention anymore. And yeah, for the last Western Clash, they also smashed the competition, but that's also in part because Dignitas tried some new stuff and didn't manage to qualify for the Western Clash, and they also didn't look as sharp in the HGC Europe. So in conclusion, Fnatic looked very strong for a very long time, but I'm not so sure if they will be as dominant at BlizzCon, so we can look forward to a tense finals hopefully anyway. But the last final that we saw was maybe hard to beat. I kind of felt like I basically have to present that video of the last team fight at Mid-Season Brawl when Fnatic finally managed to win a global championship. And yeah, let's get that one out of the way.
Goon, it hits Medivh. Immediately we have Kel'Thas going in, all of a sudden Illidan is trying to turn the fight, going for Breeze, but Breeze burrows out here. Cooldown traded so far. Once again, Quacknix moving away, but at the same time, Breeze finds himself in even more trouble. The Gust hits in, they go into the back line. Is it the kill? It is! This is Kel'Thas! They take down Medivh, they take down everybody! Shrimpy pops off and wipes out Team Dignitas! Fnatic has done it!
Fnatic grouping as 5, and they're heading towards the core. All 5 down for Dignitas, and they earn a victory. And the final game of the series, Fnatic is going to be your mid-season Brawl champions.
We see them moving in, they're going for the core, they're trying to take it. And at this point, there's no hope for Team Dignitas. This has to be game. Fnatic has finally done it. They win the tournament, they take it. GG!
So that obviously was quite an epic finish to the game, but if we look a little bit closer, we can see that Dignitas was 2 and more levels behind, so it was very hard for them to win that game. But overall, the series obviously was very close. Dignitas came from the lower bracket, so they started with the disadvantage of 1 map. So overall, the final basically ended 3-3. So Fnatic basically didn't really win. Obviously, they won before in the winner bracket, so that's the way they had the advantage. But overall, it wasn't extremely dominant. But still, the last map, they looked extremely impressive, and I felt like the map overall basically showed why Fnatic is such a strong team, and I wanted to look a little bit closer at that. Because if we are talking about European dream teams, an all-star team basically would consist of 5 players from Fnatic. Obviously, you can put in somebody from Dignitas as well, but if you're just talking about best tank players in Europe, you will put Breeze at the very top, at least among some other players. Same with SMX on the support position. Wubi is crazy strong on the Dehaka especially, but also overall the melee position. And then we have Shrimpy, who's one of the best mechanical players overall in Europe. And then there's also Quacknix, who might have the best decision-making in Heroes worldwide. So it's just a crazy lineup, and they are able to communicate in Swedish. So it's really hard to find any weakness for them. Obviously, they're quite young, so maybe that's a small weakness, but that's basically the only thing I can come up with. But let's look a little bit closer at that last map that ended so dominant for them, because in the mid game the game was very even, and we can basically see why communicating in Swedish is also a great advantage for them, because it's just a little bit faster, and why their team play is so impressive. And obviously we can see that a lot of times with their global play, with their global pressure, having Brightwing, Falstad, De Haka, that's a big strength of the team. And obviously, in general, they are just strategically very strong. But it also comes to communication, because they are able to snap so quickly and team up so quickly. And we can see that very well in the mid-game fights, which basically starts right after they just disengage a team fight. And then from there, they're basically not ahead yet. But then they basically get out of control very quickly.
Trying to disengage, but JPL should have a hook in just a few seconds. Dodges everywhere, jukes, and they are safe.
I love how Breeze was in the top left corner there to be there with the Impale. In case that hook did connect. The Giants do go over to Fnatic, but still not a single death after the first couple of kills.
Brightwing and Falstad are at the bot lane, two of the globals. Keep in mind, they can move to the middle whenever they have to. Fnatic will try to get the extra value. Here comes Quacknix, goes in. They want Mane, they jump on him. Kel'Thas, can he escape? Schwimpy goes in, and that's a kill.
3 overall kills for Fnatic, and they start to take a slight lead as they take a second fort. The third one is being wailed on by the Temple in the bottom. Illidan trying to make something happen in the top while pushing in.
Fnatic is playing to the strengths of that draft right now, but we have all seen what Dignitas can do in the late game. Fnatic needs more, and they get it. They take Illidan down, kill after kill. Fnatic is edging forward in experience and hits the 13.
Fnatic pressing every advantage here, and you're right, just slightly ahead in experience, but it's enough here. The talent be monumental for them. Team Dignitas will be forced to pull all the way back and wait it out. This is a threat of losing somebody against Triple Global. There is a moment where a 5v4 could be scary at any moment.
Exactly, and Fnatic, they have to be careful here. They choke so hard against Dignitas. Dignitas is their kryptonite, and Dignitas knows that too. They are sitting there calm and collected. They're saying, yes guys, it doesn't work well for us right now, but keep in mind, we are the ones who win games. And they try it again, but Kel'Thas falls. Their resets are there. Their Cocoon on the ground. They go for JPL. They can't get Stitches, but can they get another kill here?
They're looking for it, and Malfurion is stuck here. He's ice blocked for the moment. Portal not available, and Bakery will fall. 5 kills, 6 kills here for Fnatic, and they turn around and go for a boss.
They go for that boss right away. Snitch sees it, of course, but the ley line has been used earlier. He can't steal it, and if you have vision, that doesn't mean you can take them on. At this point, Fnatic, they build up momentum. The boss is taken.
Okay, so basically there's nothing going on. There is just a disengage from the team fight. Both teams have quite a lot of cooldowns on their ultimates, so basically nobody really wants to fight. Then there's the next temple phase. We see 2 temples, so the teams just split it. But then Fnatic just gets crazy, basically, and all of them team up. We see Wubi and SMX having a great team play with the Polymorph into Drake. Wubi obviously hits every single Drake as well. Quacknix keeps playing in, always separates one of the Dignitas players, always has some follow-up by Schwimpy with the Genji, or Wubi Drake burrowing in. And Breeze, interestingly, is basically all the time just standing in the middle lane, basically just spotting what is Dignitas doing. And as soon as the first kill comes in, he starts going on the middle temple as well. So they basically get both the objectives, and then after all that those kills, the boss as well. And then with that tiny amount of time, 1 minute, it basically takes them to take complete control over the map, and then from there they just snowball to victory at the mid-season brawl. So it's really just amazing to see the strategies, the shot calling, and the team play for Fnatic, and that's also why it kind of feels like they will still be hard to beat at Blizzcon. But on the other hand, Fnatic always kept talking throughout the season, how they are not very motivated or have trouble motivating themselves because they are so dominant. They also want to have fun. They are young guys. Quacknix always talks about how it's important to have fun on the other one hand, but on the other hand, it's important to find enough time to practice and take it seriously. And it's really hard if you're playing every day and you're basically always winning your scrims. I'm assuming that, but let's just guess that they might have a higher win rate than 50%, and then you just start trolling a little bit. Maybe you pick a weird hero here and there, and then you're hunting for kills and stuff like that, and yeah, you just don't improve as much as you could maybe. And then Shrimpy also talked about them having to practice more again for Blizzcon. So in conclusion, I think Fnatic is extremely strong, and obviously they are one of the main contenders for winning at BlizzCon, but there might be some tiny doubt if they can perform as well as they did at Mid-Season Brawl. But still, this group with Team Freedom, Darksided, and Beyond the Game should be no problem at all. Team Freedom is basically the rising star from NA, and I feel like they can do well in the tournament, but Fnatic might still be a bit too strong. Darksided took over Australia, and they might be very decent as well, but they shouldn't be able to beat Fnatic either. And then Beyond the Game, unfortunately, is not coming with a full lineup. So yeah, the group should be easy for Fnatic. Then they come in the quarterfinals with a high seed, so that should be easy as well. And then they are in the top 4. And from there, it could be difficult because the Korean teams looked very strong, especially MVP Black is very good as again. And Dignitas also basically stopped trying the new stuff, what they did in the first part of the HGC season, and now they look very strong as well. So maybe we see another epic final at the end of BlizzCon, hopefully including Fnatic. We will see.